This is NEC News Today. I'm Jeremiah McKinnon with NECNewsToday.com. Here now are the top cannabis news stories from around New England for the last week of July 2022. Our first story this week comes from Connecticut, where regulators are looking at ways to protect patient access in preparation for the launch of recreational sales. Members of the Medical Marijuana Program Board of Physicians shared their concerns that supply shortages and long lines could interrupt patients who rely on cannabis for medicinal purposes. Regulators predict that many of the existing 18 Connecticut medical marijuana dispensaries in operation today will apply to become a hybrid facility that can serve both patients and the general public. Michelle Siegel, Commissioner of Connecticut's Department of Consumer Protection, told members that the agency will examine applications based on their ability to manage lines and protect patient supply. Commissioner Siegel also proposed capping the amount of cannabis that can be sold to recreational consumers per purchase if shortages become a problem. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont recently predicted that the state is 6 months away from opening a safe and equitable adult-use cannabis market, while some analysts believe that it will take longer. For more information on this developing story, please visit NECNewsToday.com. Baseball legend David Ortiz launched his new cannabis brand this week in Massachusetts. To celebrate his recent induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame, Red Sox legend David Ortiz, also known as Big Papi, is bringing a brand new cannabis product to Massachusetts. The collaboration between Ortiz and cannabis company Revolutionary Clinics has brought the Papi brand of premium cannabis to life. The first product from Papi are Sweet Sluggers, 1 gram pre-rolled tobacco-free green tea blunts. Sweet Sluggers are made in Fitchburg, featuring Big Papi's choice strains, including Black Mamba No. 7, Lava Cake No. 7, Motor Breath No. 15, and Bootylicious No. 14. These blunts are individually packaged in 100% reclaimed ocean plastic containers or in a convenient 3-pack that includes a box of Papi brand matches. David Ortiz hopes with this new business venture he can help end negative stigma that still surrounds cannabis. Big Papi says that cannabis helped change his life for the better by helping him manage pain and balance stress. Sweet Sluggers are now available at cannabis dispensaries across Massachusetts. Please go to NECNewsToday.com for more information. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker has signaled his support for the omnibus cannabis bill during a recent appearance on GBH radio. Governor Baker, who opposed marijuana legalization and is not seeking a third term as governor, signaled his support for what he believes is a corrective piece of legislation during a recent appearance on GBH's Boston Public Radio. Lawmakers met in a conference committee earlier this month to find common ground on the legislation that would create a social equity trust fund, reform community host agreements, and clarify rules on social consumption. House and Senate lawmakers have disagreed on how much tax revenue to dedicate towards social equity grants and loans. With only a few days remaining in the legislative session, advocates are pushing lawmakers to get this bill over the finish line. This is the first time that lawmakers are looking to change the adult use cannabis law since it was passed into law in 2017. The Vermont Cannabis Control Board has recently announced that they've officially issued over 100 cannabis cultivation licenses. Every week, the Cannabis Control Board in Vermont gets together to approve more cannabis licenses. Recently, the agency announced that they have issued over 100 licenses to businesses engaged in adult-use marijuana cultivation. The announcement comes roughly 2 months after the first cultivation license was issued. The Cannabis Control Board has also published a map on their website for individuals to learn more about where Vermont's licensed cannabis businesses are located. According to the Cannabis Control Board, almost half of all cultivation licenses have been issued to a business with either social equity or economic empowerment status. The agency cannot begin to issue licenses to dispensaries until October 1, 2022, according to state law. In Maine, the ACLU is blasting rules that require cannabis businesses to have video surveillance systems. Maine's Office of Marijuana Policy is receiving blowback from the ACLU over rules that require video surveillance at cannabis businesses. Generally, the rules around video surveillance specify where cameras are required, such as inside and outside of each entry and exit point. The rules go into further detail, requiring a camera to be fixed at the point of sale to monitor the identity of the purchaser and ensure facial identity. According to the public comment from the ACLU of Maine, these rules around video surveillance are in violation of Maine's law against facial surveillance systems. Maine has strict limits prohibiting most government, police, and third parties from using facial identification software. Video surveillance is common in the cannabis industry as a public safety measure in states such as Massachusetts. A lawyer for the ACLU of Maine is scrutinizing the idea as a surveillance state tactic that violates Maine's ban on facial recognition systems. We will continue to cover this story as it develops. In Greenfield, Massachusetts, the City Council has placed restrictions on outdoor cannabis cultivation. Cannabis cultivators are now limited to a Tier 1 operation with a maximum canopy of 5,000 square feet. The town will allow a maximum of 3 Tier 1 operations per parcel of land. The unanimous vote by members of the City Council comes after members of the community raised concern over the proposal for 3 cannabis companies to each site a 100,000 square foot cultivation facility on Country Club Road. In October of 2020, Greenfield officials signed a host agreement with a Tier 11 outdoor cultivator at 493 Layden Road. The Greenfield Planning and Development Director assured councilors that the cultivator on Layden Road would be grandfathered in and not impacted as a result of this vote. For more information on this developing story, please visit our website. New Hampshire caregivers are no longer required to submit a background check as of July 24th. The Department of Health and Human Services in New Hampshire recently announced a program update to the state's therapeutic cannabis program. As of July 24th, background checks are no longer required for caregivers. A recent law signed by Governor Chris Sununu eliminated the background checks and fingerprinting requirements for caregivers. New Hampshire does prohibit individuals with a felony conviction from serving as a caregiver. There is no fee associated with registering or renewing as a caregiver in New Hampshire. Background checks were costly and proved to be an obstacle for some patients trying to receive access to medical marijuana. Last but not least this week, in Rhode Island, the state has made a 5-year contract with METRC on the state's medical marijuana program. Rhode Island's Office of Cannabis Regulation recently announced a partnership with METRC to be the official vendor for the state's medical marijuana program. METRC also holds contracts in neighboring Massachusetts and Maine for their adult use and medical programs. The platform allows businesses and regulators to ensure compliance with regulations through a track and trace system. This 5-year contract has METRC replacing the state's previous vendor, Kind Agrisoft. Rhode Island's medical cannabis program is set to grow over the next few years. In 2019, lawmakers created 6 new medical marijuana dispensaries to expand access for patients across the state. For the absolute latest New England Cannabis news, head on over to necnewstoday.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to NEC News Today for more great content and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode of the show. For New England Cannabis News Today, this is Jeremiah McKinnon, reminding you to always use cannabis responsibly and to enjoy your cannabis-filled adventures throughout New England.